Hello and welcome back. So we're halfway through the video archives, and we have not yet touched the most gritty and gripping of the information, nor the most confusing. This next video is going to be the diplomacy and politics of Magic the Gathering. And the cards themselves, for the single colors, generally explain themselves. Now that being said, let's start off with the plane of Ravnica, because it is the epicenter of Magic the Gathering diplomacy. There are many two-color combinations which exist within Ravnica as diplomatic and political factions. But there are no one-color, three-color, or all-color relativities. In which case, it makes Ravnica perhaps the easiest one to go over. The long and short of it is that you can think of Ravnica as kind of a United Nations or European Union in a way, because there is one character who holds the position of Guild Pact, or the Supreme Arbitrator. Jace Belleron is that Guild Pact. There was a whole set covering a maze instituted by the Izzet Guild to determine the human embodiment or sentient embodiment of the Guild Pact, or the truce between all the guilds, the alliance between them to progress the lives of Ravnica and to further and instill peace among the denizens, as well as the happiness and prosperity of Ravnica as a whole. After Jace became the Guild Pact, he has seen much competition from a planeswalker called Vraska the Unseen, basically a Gorgon assassin from the Golgari swarm. It is kind of an interesting but each guild serves its own purpose in the plane of Ravnica. The Azorius, or the blue-white combination, serves similar to England's parliamentary branch in the 16th, 17th century. whereas the green-blue alignment, or the Simic, is basically the duty of the Simic is to provide food and resources for the denizens of Ravnica. Wait, no, that's the Golgari. My mistake. Or is it the Selesnya? You can think of Selesnya, or green-white, as kind of a farm agriculture division. Whereas the Boros, or red-white, is kind of the police force. You can see green, blue, and blue-red as kind of the scientific minds of Ravnica, whereas green-black and black-white, or the Golgari and Orzhov respectively, are kind of the service guilds of Ravnica. The Azorius, being serviceably similar to early Catholicism, with its extortions and love of money, as well as its being the major religion of Ravnica. And the Golgari serving as kind of a waste and recycle service. Waste not, want not, kind of. The Rakdos Guild and the Gruul can kind of be seen as organized crime or anarchy in its own way. Rakdos is red-black, and the Gruul is red-green. The Gruul kinda seeks to preserve nature as it is, and serves as what we know today as kind of a it's a division of government in its own right that seeks to protect what land there still is from being too corrupted by the touch of humanoid hands. In other words, if cars were existent on Ravnica, it would be the Gruul's job to make sure that the atmosphere of Ravnica was not polluted too far because of the products that those cars would produce. I'm not entirely sure of the name of a similar organization, but, well. And the Rakdos are kind of a cult/anarchy group. And these days, it almost seems like we can't get enough of those, am I right? Bada boom ching. But their service in Ravnica is to make sure that nothing is too controlled. They essentially serve as a very strongly, they are kinda, in a way, they are the people's voice, but at the same time, they outburst and they cry and they burn things where other guilds would simply voice their problems on their own as mature people. Or they would scheme and assassinate their problems, much like the spy guild known as the Demir. I think I've covered everything in the two color combinations. And then there's the plane of Vryn, which is all arbitrary. It is a war between two sides that Alhemrit, the main arbiter, prior to Jace Belleron completely destroying his mind when he decided to ignite and keep his Planeswalker Spark. Alhemrit's purpose was to arbitrate between two warring factions over the Girapur Aether Grid and Aether is kind of an energy source on both Vryn and Kaladesh. But Alhemrit was being manipulative for the purpose of money. Jace saw right through it, and that made him planeswalk to Ravnica. Back to the topic of Kaladesh, we have, well, basically communism, but in a steampunkish way. Each color is represented differently on Kaladesh. White mana is used for constructive purposes. Red mana is used for synthesis. And green is used for inspiration. Blue is used for innovation, and black is used for reclamation. And where Aether is kind of a money source in the fact that it is the energy source required for any and all innovations and creations on the plane of Kaladesh, the consulate government of Kaladesh restricts the amount of Aether given out to those who are, in profession, artificers. And technically speaking, there are very few on Kaladesh who are either government officials, who are neither government officials nor artificers. And that about covers the main politics of Magic the Gathering.